The night I checked his phone. That was the night my marriage to Samuel, the man I thought I knew better than myself, shattered into a million pieces. We had what I believed was a perfect life. A beautiful home, 2 amazing kids, and a love story that started in college. Samuel was my rock, my everything. Or so I thought. Lately, though, a chill had crept into our home, a distance I couldn't quite name. He was working late more often, his phone always face down, a nervous twitch in his eye whenever I got too close to it. He laughed it off, saying I was being paranoid, that work was just stressful. I wanted to believe him, I really did. But this gnawing feeling in my gut, this cold dread, wouldn't go away. One Tuesday night, it all came to a head. The kids were asleep, and Samuel had just gotten home, exhausted. He mumbled something about a long meeting, showered, and fell into bed, asleep almost instantly. His phone was on the nightstand, charging. It felt like it was buzzing, calling out to me, even though it was silent. My heart was pounding in my chest so loudly I was sure it would wake him. I told myself I was being ridiculous, that I was about to cross a line there was no coming back from. Trust is the foundation of a marriage, right? But what do you do when you suspect that foundation is already cracked? My hands were shaking as I reached for it. I hesitated, my thumb hovering over the screen. This could be nothing. I could be inventing this whole drama in my head, and in the morning, I'd feel like a fool. But the alternative, the possibility that I wasn't crazy, that my intuition was screaming the truth at me, was even more terrifying. I had to know. I picked up the phone. His password was our anniversary. The irony was so thick I could barely breathe. My fingers felt clumsy as I navigated to his messages. My stomach lurched. There it was, a name I didn't recognize. Jessica. The conversation thread was long, stretching back months. I scrolled up, my vision blurring with tears I refused to let fall. It started innocently enough. Casual chats, jokes about work, but then the tone shifted. The messages became more intimate, filled with heart emojis and late-night confessions. I miss you, one read. Can't stop thinking about our lunch today, said another. They were planning to meet up again. He called her Sunshine. He hadn't called me a pet name in years. It was all there, in black and white. Every late night, every business dinner, every distracted smile. It wasn't work. It was her. The messages were a dagger to the heart, but the photo gallery was the final, brutal twist. I opened it, my breath catching in my throat. There were pictures of them. Selfies at a cozy-looking restaurant, him with his arm around her, both of them beaming. A picture of her, laughing, that he had clearly taken. She was beautiful, of course. Younger. The kind of effortless beauty you see in magazines. They looked so happy, so carefree. It was a life he was living completely separate from me, from our family. It was a punch to the gut. The man sleeping peacefully just a few feet away from me was a stranger. This whole time while I was at home with the kids, making dinner, planning our family's future, he was building a new life with someone else. The betrayal was so absolute, so profound, it felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. I sat there on the edge of the bed for what felt like hours, the phone clutched in my hand, its screen a harsh light in the dark room. A storm of emotions raged inside me. First, a white-hot fury. How could he? After everything we'd been through, everything we'd built? Then came the wave of crushing sadness, a grief so deep it felt like a physical weight on my chest. Was I not enough? Was our life a lie? Every memory we'd ever made was suddenly tainted, replaying in my mind through this new horrifying filter. Our wedding day, the birth of our children, our anniversary trips. Was he thinking of her then too? The self-doubt was overwhelming. I started questioning everything about myself. Was I not pretty enough anymore? Not interesting enough? Did I let myself go? It's a cruel trick the mind plays, turning the blame inward when you've been so deeply wronged. The next morning was surreal. I went through the motions like a robot. Woke the kids, made breakfast, packed their lunches. Samuel came into the kitchen, smiling, and tried to kiss me good morning. I flinched away like he was on fire. The look of confusion on his face was almost comical. He had no idea that I knew that our world had imploded overnight. He asked what was wrong. I just stared at him, my eyes probably screaming the betrayal I couldn't yet voice. I couldn't speak. What was there to say? How do you even start that conversation? By the way, I went through your phone and discovered you're living a double life. The words felt foreign and impossible. That day, I made a decision. I wasn't going to collapse. I wasn't going to let this destroy me, even though it felt like it already had. My children needed me. And more importantly, I needed me. I deserved more than a life built on lies. The first person I called was my best friend Maya. The words tumbled out of me in a torrent of sobs and rage. She just listened, letting me pour out all the pain and confusion. She didn't offer easy answers or cliches. She just said, "I'm here. Whatever you need." Her support was a lifeline in that swirling sea of despair. Then, I did something I never thought I'd do. I called a lawyer, just to know my options. It felt like a monumental step, making it all so real. The conversation was clinical and detached, but it gave me a sense of control, a feeling I hadn't had since the moment I picked up that phone. When Samuel came home that evening, I was ready. I had his phone sitting on the kitchen table between us. He saw it and his face went pale. The color drained from his cheeks and the confident mask he always wore crumbled. There was no more hiding, no more lies. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. My voice was eerily calm as I asked, "Who is Jessica?" The silence that followed was deafening. He couldn't even look at me. He just stared at the table, his whole world crashing down around him, just as mine had the night before. The confrontation was ugly. He tried to deny it, then he tried to minimize it. He said it didn't mean anything, that it was a mistake. But the pictures, the messages, the months of deceit, they weren't a mistake. They were a choice. A series of thousands of choices he made every single day to betray me and our family. The weeks that followed were a blur of difficult conversations, therapy sessions, and sleepless nights. We had to tell the kids we were separating, which was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Seeing their confusion and sadness broke my heart all over again. But I knew staying in a broken, dishonest marriage wasn't the answer. It wasn't the example I wanted to set for them. I learned a lot about myself during that time. I learned that I'm so much stronger than I ever thought. I learned that my identity isn't just Samuel's wife. I am Kiara. I am a mother, a friend, a woman with her own dreams and her own strength. The pain of betrayal is a unique kind of hell, but it doesn't have to be the end of your story. It can be a brutal, unwanted, but ultimately transformative beginning. Today, my life looks very different. The divorce was finalized and Samuel is no longer a part of my daily life. It's not easy. Being a single mom is challenging, and there are days when the loneliness is a heavy blanket, but there's also a new sense of peace. There are no more secrets, no more gut-wrenching anxiety. My home is a place of honesty and calm for me and my children. I'm rediscovering who I am, finding joy in small things, and slowly, very slowly, learning to trust again, starting with myself. Checking his phone that night felt like the end of the world, and in a way it was. It was the end of the world I knew. But it was also the beginning of a new one. A world where I am in control of my own happiness, where honesty is non-negotiable, and where I know, without a doubt, that I am enough. If you're going through something similar, please know you're not alone, and there is light on the other side. Thank you for listening to my story. Please subscribe for more stories about overcoming life's biggest challenges.